Six Flags Great America is one of the premier parks of the Six Flags chain. This park is located in Gurnee, Illinois, a northern suburb of Chicago, and the location puts it right between Milwaukee and Chicago, offering a great central location for these two major cities. The park opened as Marriott's Great America in 1976 and was acquired by Six Flags in 1984. Being my home park growing up, this is my most visited park and one I have followed very closely my entire life. Does this park live up to the hype as one of Six Flags' best? Let's find out in this review. As per usual, 99% of you that watch this video are not subscribed to my channel, so I encourage you, if you like this video, to please like and subscribe, as there will be plenty more content coming out and I don't want you to miss it. Let's go ahead and start out with the layout of Six Flags Great America. Great America's park is laid out as a dual loop with 12 themed areas. The dual loop, which was invented by Randall Duell, is one of my favorite park layouts, as no matter where you are, it makes it very easy to navigate the park and ensure you will end up where you want to go. One thing about the park layout that is great for Six Flags Great America is every themed area has a good amount of decent attractions, which leads to a nice balanced layout. Compare this to a park like Cedar Point, where two of the best roller coasters in the world are right next to each other, and you start to appreciate it a little more. Another good thing about this balance of attractions is that it does a good job of spreading the crowds out, so no matter where you are in the park, you're not going to feel overwhelmed. Upon entering the park, you can go right and hit up Max Force, Whizzer, Viper, and Raging Bull, but doing so means you don't go left, and left leads you to Superman, Batman, the Flash Vertical Velocity, Goliath, and the water rides. Parking is plentiful here and all right in front of the entrance gate, unlike Six Flags Magic Mountain. There are also plenty of hotels close by, making it a short walk for those who are coming in from out of town and want to save on parking or the traffic. So what is the park atmosphere like when you finally get into the park? I have always enjoyed the park atmosphere every time I have come here. This park pulls some of the highest attendance in the country, so it is always buzzing. As far as I am concerned, I always link appearance and atmosphere together because I think they play off of each other. All of the themed areas are marked with large signage, and you can tell when you're transitioning to a new area very easily, so it is easy to tell when you have entered a new spot of the park. This is not always the case at other parks. At Six Flags St. Louis, I noted that I did not even realize they had themed areas until I left the park and started to make the review video for St. Louis, since they had no signage or any sort of theming change to indicate it. As far as the areas and theming, how I review it depends on how you look at it. From a standpoint of other parks around the country, it's good, but not great. But comparing it to Six Flags standards, this is some world-class shit. Areas like Carousel Plaza, Orleans Place, DC Universe, and Southwest Territory stand out as very well-themed areas. Now, compared to Disney, not very well-themed, but at least it looks like they made an effort here to differentiate the areas of the park. The other areas of the park still offer some theming, but I think the ones I mentioned before do a little bit of a better job than the other ones. But still, for a Six Flags park, Great America does very well here, and I hope that Six Flags starts to do this at some of their other parks. One thing that they do not do well with the theming, of course, is the music. It's a Six Flags park, so you're going to get your typical pop music, and I think that just takes away from the themed areas. I want to go through Orleans Place and hear jazz and blues, not Moves Like Jagger by Maroon 5. It just sounds tacky. In spite of that, however, you're gonna notice that this park is one of the cleanest parks in the country, and I have never complained about the cleanliness here. There is high amounts of blacktop in certain areas, but you're gonna look around and notice a lot of flowers and greenery that really adds to the park's charm and beauty. It's not any world-class beauty that you'll find at other parks, but it does a great job. As far as food and beverage at Six Flags Great America, I would say the food is good but not great. I have not eaten at this park very much, but they do offer a good variety of options at least, so you should not struggle finding something you like. The great thing about Great America's location is that there are plenty of options just outside the park entrance and very close to the park, meaning a lot of people will decide to eat lunch or dinner at surrounding places. Growing up in the Chicagoland area, I of course will recommend Portillo's by Gurnee Mills, which is just down the road, and Oberweis if you're looking for a good ice cream or dessert option. There's also Giordano's if you're looking for Chicago deep dish, although I do recommend their thin crust as well, and also the usual chain restaurants you'll find in highly populated areas to suit your need. Let's stop talking about food and move on to park operations, and Six Flags Great America is some of the best operations I have seen from a park, especially a Six Flags park. The park is always running multiple trains on every ride, and aside from Goliath, the operations are very quick. The operations and ride operators also do a good job enhancing the guest's experience. For example, I was at the park one day on a rainy day and nobody was at the park. I ended up getting a ride on Raging Bull and there was nobody in line for my row when I got back to the station. Still, I got off the ride and re-entered the line at the front as normal. Once I got to the station, the operator told me I did not have to leave the station if nobody is waiting for my row. This might sound like common sense, but I have seen operations that'll still make you leave and re-enter the line even if something like this were to happen. Long story short, I ended up getting 8 rides in a row on Raging Bull before someone was waiting to ride, making it one of the best experiences I have ever had at a park and something I will definitely remember for the rest of my life. And now for the main reason you go to amusement parks, the rides and roller coasters. Six Flags Great America has a top-notch collection of rides and roller coasters with 15 operating roller coasters currently. Rocket Rockets and Little Dipper are the junior coasters of the park, and they offer very good thrills for families and those starting off on their roller coaster journey. Then you get up to the big family coaster, and that's Whizzer, which is a Schwarzkopf speed racer, one of the most unique rides you will find and one that the entire family can enjoy. There's a reason it survived the chopping block in the early 2000s. Rip to Shockwave. Then there's Demon, which is a great classic aero looper, although its days might be numbered, but the good thing about this ride is it has a 42-inch height requirement, giving the younger thrill seekers a chance to ride something awesome pretty early on. As far as the DC portion of the roller coaster lineup, you got Superman, Batman, and the Flash Vertical Velocity, which are clones but the good clones. They also have the bad clone, which is Joker. And there's also Dark Knight, which is the indoor Wild Mouse. American Eagle and Viper are the classic wooden roller coasters of the park. If you ride American Eagle and start watching this video when you get to the entrance, you'll probably be done with the video before you get to the ride station. Aside from a good amount of cardio, American Eagle does offer a very unique layout and experience despite the roughness. Viper is one of the more underrated coasters out there, providing very good airtime and a very smooth ride overall. There's also X-Flight, which is one of the first B&M wing coasters ever built, and it offers great forces and awesome near-miss elements. Goliath is a ground-up RMC that I rank higher than Iron Rattler, as controversial as that may be, as despite its short ride length, every element works and provides great intensity. The newest roller coaster at the park is Max Force, which is an SNS air-powered launch coaster. It's a very short ride, but one of the most intense and exhilarating launches you can find. And finally, my most ridden roller coaster, Raging Bull, which is a B&M Hyper Twister coaster. Definitely one of the most polarizing roller coasters out there, but I think it's a great ride and offers a long ride filled with great airtime. Great America's roller coaster lineup is easily one of the most consistent you will find. There is really not a bad roller coaster to be found here, showing the depth of the roller coaster lineup. The one nitpick here is that the park, in my opinion, lacks an elite roller coaster that can sit atop the lineup. I am very much team RMC American Eagle, as that would be a surefire way to provide that elite roller coaster, although I know a lot of people think differently. Before I offer my final thoughts, since I have been to this park so many times, I thought I would offer a few pro tips before summarizing the review. Pro tip number 1 is that if you are attending on a Sunday in the fall and are worried about crowds, I would check the NFL schedule. If the Green Bay Packers and Chicago Bears are playing a Sunday noon or 3 o'clock game, I would choose this day to attend. The park crowds will be much lighter and you will have a great day. Pro tip number 2 might be a little more obvious, but ride Max Force first. Max Force is the worst capacity coaster in the park, is popular, and breaks down a lot. Pro tip number 3 is that if you are attending from out of town on a weekend and looking for a hotel, I would look in some of the cities along I-94 south of the park. There are a lot of hotels down here due to the large corporations and businesses in the area like Walgreens, Abbott Labs, and Discover Bank, meaning these hotels will have low occupancy on the weekends and be pretty affordable. Six Flags Great America is a great park and a must visit for any amusement fan. This park shows me the potential Six Flags has as a value chain that can still provide a top-notch experience. As with any Six Flags park, the theming and scenery can be better, but it's acceptable and much better than the majority of Six Flags parks out there. If this park could land an elite roller coaster, it can become the best Six Flags park in the chain. That wraps up my review of Six Flags Great America. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you made it to the end, I do encourage you to like and subscribe so you can see more content in the future. I'll see you all in the next one.